Guys, we're bringing you this very special report because all of a sudden there's a new pickup truck manufacturer in town.
That's right. If you've been scouring the internet for truck news like we do, because that's part of our job, you may have seen pictures surface of exactly what we're looking at here, which is set to be an affordable two-door pickup truck that'll be new to the market, a whole new company coming out.
So the company is named Slate Auto. There's actually a website. There's a LinkedIn page. There's a lot of rumors swirling around this little pickup, and this has happened kind of suddenly. Just a couple days ago, we knew almost nothing about Slate.
Yeah.
And then almost every outlet is talking about it. And there's a rumor that they're building a $25,000 electric pickup truck.
Yeah, and it's still very light on the actual confirmed information coming from Slate, so there's a lot of speculation out there. Some things that we want to address a little bit, maybe critique, and also some of our hopes for what we want to see out of this truck.
Yeah, and we want to ask a question. Would you buy something like this? If something like this was available, would you jump out and spend your money on something like this? Granted, we still don't know a lot of the specifications. And also, there are a lot of AI-generated videos these days that talk about, new trucks coming out with $25,000 headlines, and all of them are false. But there's some credibility here because we can see some of the people who are already working for this company on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We could see a lot of information behind the scenes. We just don't know much about the truck. And we have an image provided by DiscoStranger09 on Reddit.
Yeah, a user on Reddit that posted this picture. And what you can see from the photo is a relatively small two-door truck, pretty low to the ground. Who knows, could have air suspension. If it's a more optioned unit, maybe it lifts up a little higher. As it's pictured, it sets pretty low, so it doesn't appear to be an off-road truck of any kind. Again, two-door. The bed size from the photo appears to be maybe 5.5, 6-ish feet.
Yeah, you and I are estimating it based on kind of the scale of this image. This truck is being transferred on a flatbed tow truck, probably maybe for an event. But we don't know a lot about this. We don't even know this could be something else.
Yeah.
We just know that the picture was taken. So thank you, DiscoStranger09. But we also know who are the backers of Slate Auto. Which is some heavyweights. A lot of money is actually being funneled. And according to LinkedIn, there is about 334 employees of this company.
Yeah, so Andre actually went through and scoured the list of employees on the Slate page. There were one or two names that we actually recognized, people from the automotive industry that have a long history.
Dude, I was just looking, and Rod Romaine, it says that he works at Slate.
Yeah, and he worked on Ram trucks for a long time. He retired a few years back.
Yeah.
But he was there for quite a while, even going back to when the second-gen Ram that I have from 1994 was made.
Exactly, and I've met Rod. I've interviewed him about some Ram truck news, and he's a very cool dude, and it's actually good to see some of these people actually are at Slate Auto. But here's some of the other backers. So you could see kind of on the right side page, similar pages, build manufacturing or build manufacturing. It's kind of an incubator. There's also a lot of other pages that are electric vehicles, Scout Motors, Rivian, Recar Automotive. And this company is based in Michigan.
Yep.
Makes sense. This is where a lot of automotive companies are born.
Absolutely.
And that's where a lot of the knowledge is, right? A lot of the knowledge about how to not just design a vehicle, but also put it into production and actually make it happen.
And of course, to make it happen, like you mentioned, you need some serious financial backing. And the biggest, most recognizable name that appears to be financially backing this company is Jeff Bezos.
Exactly. And according to a story, if you can go back to the previous page, Cole, this is from Autoblog, the company has secured around $100 million of capital already from several backers, including some Amazon executives, including Jeff Bezos as well. So a lot of money is being funneled here. And this gives it more credibility, right? Because if this was just you and I started a company in Colorado, we only have limited resources, right? We can build maybe a a swapped
We certainly
Soviet
don't.
van.
We certainly don't have $100 million.
No, we do not. So this gives it now credibility. But what do you think about the design? Do you think people will buy a two-door, short bed, maybe two-wheel drive pickup?
It's definitely not what the majority of sales are. It doesn't mean that there isn't necessarily an audience for it, especially if this is something they can genuinely make at a low price point. This Autoblog article, as well as some others, are claiming around a $25,000 starting price targeted. Now, my cynical mind, after us having been in this world and doing industry news for the last several years, there have been many, many EV startups that have claimed that they're going to have all these features, all this capability for a very affordable entry price. And sometimes those vehicles never really come to fruition. We've seen that several times. And other times they do come to fruition, but never really at the price that people were hoping for from the get-go. So my cynical brain says that $25,000 would probably end up more like $35,000 if I had to guess. This is purely speculation for a vehicle that doesn't have a lot of features and upwards from there. But if they genuinely could make this truck for 25 grand, that would make this a very appealing offering because trucks these days are very expensive. And it would be great to see one that's less expensive, even if it's electric and there are some limitations to its use case because of that. And it does appear to be electric based off of the look of it, and especially on the front end, what seems to be the lack of any openings for cooling for a traditional combustion powertrain.
Or at least large grills. You know, it's kind of missing a large grill. But there's some other information. If you kind of look into the headlamp of this, or the side marker light, or maybe the door handle, maybe some of the other components on this little pickup, it seems like the rumors are swirling that those are reusable components you can buy cheaply, maybe even on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
So if you needed the replacement headlamp, or if you needed a replacement door handle, if you needed a piece of trim, those pieces would be very inexpensive to buy and available anywhere.
Yeah, and if not a popular consumer vehicle, that could make this a popular fleet vehicle for companies to use as an actual work truck. And who knows? I mean, maybe it would be possible for them to come up with some creative solutions. Like, for example, I think it would be kind of cool. There's always practical limitations to this. But if this is going to be a two-door, maybe 3 across seating, they could theoretically have some jump seats that could fold up out of the bed so that in a pinch you could throw a couple extra people in the vehicle and drive. That would, of course, have a certain cost to it. It would take up a certain amount of space. And also, riding in the bed of a truck is only ever going to be so practical. But who knows what kind of potential there is with a design like this. You know, theoretically, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, or you could put a topper on it, or maybe a little roof rack. Who knows? I mean, you could use this little vehicle in many different ways.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to give some context to this. So, Cole, I also pulled up an Alpha Motor Wolf electric truck. This is another startup, completely unrelated, that also has a kind of a similar concept, which is a two-door off-roady in this case. Little electric pickup truck. But this company has been around for several years, or at least we've heard about this company for several years, and we don't have a lot of fruits from that labor, right? So even though they've shown it at some shows like SEMA, as far as I'm aware, nobody has actually driven or ridden in one of these things as far as outside the company.
Yeah.
So that's why we're skeptical, right? You know, a lot of companies exist kind of similar to this, but for example, Canoe is now bankrupt.
Yeah.
Canoe was another company. There's another company on the next tab. I have Tello trucks. Nathan recently did a wonderful video showing us this little compact pickup, which is another startup out of San Francisco.
Yeah, and Tello is another one that is set up to be a affordable and practical, useful little truck. And we love these ideas, we love the concepts, but actually bringing that to production, bringing it to fruition at that price point that's promised is extremely difficult to do. It's extremely difficult to set up any car manufacturer, period. What we do is a lot more easy and fun because people make the cars and then we get to look
Yeah.
at them, film them,
And
drive
test them. Yeah.
which is great. So I don't envy the people that have to make these things come to life, but it is worth viewing all of these ideas with a certain level of realistic.
Yeah. Skepticism.
Some skepticism. That's the word I was digging for.
Yeah, exactly. And recently, many other vehicle manufacturers have gone bankrupt. I'm talking about Nikola semi-truck, which is a hydrogen-powered fuel cell and/or electric semi. They went bankrupt. Really, some of the few companies are Rivian, that's around and doing quite well, and I'm really hoping that they continue to do well. Tesla, of course, used to be a startup, now are a pretty major manufacturer in this space. But Volkswagen has invested into Scout, and Volkswagen is a gigantic manufacturer with a lot of resources.
Absolutely.
And if we have all these executives pumping millions of dollars into Slate Auto, that could be interesting.
Yeah, there's absolutely the potential for it to materialize into a very good product and an affordable offering. I'll just believe it when I see it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, and I was listening to Will Bearing's podcast. Our friend Sam Abul Samed and his team were discussing this topic as well. They were mentioning, it's possible to use LFP batteries, which are a little bit more inexpensive to produce.
Yeah.
Maybe this battery pack would cost around $5,000, and then you have to build a vehicle around it. But to sell at $25,000, you have to make margins still.
Yeah.
So
it would be difficult to do. A lot of side-by-sides these days
are at 40,000.
Yeah, and they don't have to have all of the crash safety standards and everything that automotive goes through. They don't have to have nearly as many of the lights, safety systems.
Mirrors, for example.
Yeah, mirrors, airbags.
Yeah.
It's not like side-by-sides have exceptionally high-quality material interiors, nor do they have substantial powertrains beyond, about 2 liters if they're gas-powered. So the fact that it's difficult to even find a side-by-side for much less than $30,000 makes me skeptical that it's going to be easy to produce a decent quality truck that'll drive on the street for that amount. But I hope it happens.
Exactly. So let us know what you think. We should have more news about this because it seems like the ramp up of this company is going pretty quickly.
Yeah,
and
we can pull up their website as well.
Yeah, right there. So slate.auto is a website, and right now it only has just a little message and a way to sign up for news. But we're thinking that there's rumors that a lot more will drop very soon. Potentially, there's other reports that this truck could be built by the end of 2026.
Which is that's a pretty quick timeline.
And also it may be produced in Indiana. So those are some of the rumors. And main offices are in Troy, Michigan.
Yeah.
That's where the company is based. So that's all we know for now.
Yeah, that's the buzz about it at the moment. So once there's some actual hard confirmed news from Slate that we can look at and say this is confirmed and this is exactly what they're shooting for, we'll make sure to make a video about that as well.
And you know what Roman said actually this morning in our meeting? He said that Slate, those 5 letters, if you rearrange them, it would spell Tesla.
Yeah, which could be coincidence or could not. Who knows?
Let's make it a clean slate.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll see you next time at oldtfl.com.